I have the cover getting it off now. Air filter is good, just slightly, just the pre-filter is just a little bit dirty, but the filter underneath is pretty good shape, so in good shape with that. And then all of this was really loose up here. It's because there was only one bolt here holding it on, holding the gas tank on, and there's no bolts here in the front holding on anything up here. So let's see, and was this one holding on? Yeah, there was one down here, this bolt was here, and I have one nut at the top here, but I don't know if there's anything holding on the cover, and I think it probably just chewed off the plastic piece. So I'm going to take off the rest of this and we'll see what we have. So here's the underside of this cover, and what happened was this piece, I guess, got bowed out and got latched up like that, and so probably just need to tighten that up, and it wasn't allowing the teeth to come out of it, and one of the teeth was missing as well. So I'll put that back on, and I'll pull it a few times and see if that works for us. So hopefully a really easy fix with this one. Alright, so I just took this bolt off, fit the teeth back in the grooves and put it back on, and I'll give it a few pulls for y'all here. Seem to be back in business, so let me bolt it back on the way that it's supposed to be bolted onto the mower, because since I was missing a couple of bolts, and see if we can fire this thing up. I've got it down here now. I put the pull rope back on. I put a new rope in it because the one on it was pretty frayed, but as you can hear, the rivets right here are a little bit loose, but seems to be alright. Put everything back on it, like I said. He did say that this thing does run, so let's prime it a few times. Oh, and also, where I showed y'all that the chute wasn't on properly, or the spring wasn't loaded, I did put the spring back on like it's supposed to, that way that it works like it's supposed to. So primed up, let me see if we can get it started. So it's running a little too fast, as you can tell. So I'm gonna push this back a little bit. Kind of work on that a little bit, and then also try and work on this right here to see if I can get it so that it doesn't collapse like it just did too. But yeah. It does run, so good news. I'll check to see if the self-propel works too. Let me see if I can adjust this throttle down just a touch. Alright, so the self-propel works too, which is good. So let me see if I can remedy this problem with the deck here. Might just need to tighten up a couple things. But yeah, I think we're gonna have a good mower here, thankfully. Like I said, let me see what I can do to make it a little bit better here. And get it cleaned up, and I will show you all the finished product, hopefully. Got it on its side here now. There's a little bit of play in the axle, actually, just from use and wear, and that's how the mechanism worked for the height adjuster, which, as you can see, is a little bit worn. And I don't know if there's going to be any saving this, but we're going to try. What I have tried, these two washers up here on the top did not come with it. I put those two washers in to help flush up the shaft some, to keep the play out of it, because that was what was wrong, was the play in the shaft coincided with this height adjuster, and it wasn't keeping the height of the mower, because the play in the shaft was causing it to move up, and this to move back and forth because it's tied into the axle here. So I've got it on now, like hopefully it's supposed to be, and hopefully I've got enough room to get this gear on, which I do, which is awesome, and there's still enough room here to put the clip on. So we I believe we're going to be in good shape here, because the axle clip goes right there, and I can just put it, get the camera there, put it in, get a pair of pliers and put it in. Kind of shows you how much play it had in it. They could put two washers in and still be okay with this. So I'll put the wheel on. I'm going to move it around. That seems much tighter than it was, but it's still looser than I want it to be. Might try and pull the pliers on this a little bit, just try and get it so that it doesn't play around as much. So let me, probably need bigger ones than this, but let me try and play around with this a little bit more and see if I can get it right. And I will get some bigger pliers and put the wheel on and push around and see if I've got this thing worked out. If I can get this worked out, we're going to have one good mower here. So stay tuned. While it's not my desired solution, I did come up with a decent solution to this problem. What I did is I drilled a couple of holes out. So you see one of them's there and the other one's right here. So I got a bolt that's long enough to where it'll lock in right there, so that the lever won't move unless you like physically really pull it out, which is what I needed to do. So I've got one that's kind of in a high position, and I've got one that's kind of in a low position, and all somebody would have to do is get a little 5/16 inch nut driver and just kind of adjust it a little bit in order to get them back into the holes, because it sure beats having this thing just launch down into the low position and with no warning. So that's going to be my solution for this one. Put the little plastic piece back on, let it run a little while. I'm going to change the oil in it, clean it up, and I'll give you all a final look and start for you for this Husqvarna. Here it is cleaned up pretty well. I did tighten up the handle here with these bolts on it, so it doesn't move around as much. You know, sharpen the blade, change the oil, and this fix right here seems to be working pretty well. It's just you pretty much only can cut it one height, or if you want to cut low, I put another hole right there for it. I could put another one in the middle if the buyer requests it, but I think I would have had to, with the way that mechanism was and the axle just having a little bit of wear on it, I think I would have actually had to take the whole axle off of the mower to try and remedy it, and I wasn't going to do that since this mower is not necessarily worthy of that. But like I showed y'all, I fixed the cover so that it springs back. Gave it a good wash, and seems to be good. Self-propel works great on it. I would think that this mower in this condition would bring, you know, tops $125. Probably put it on for $120 at this point in the season. I don't see it really making more than that, just because it's been used pretty well. Although it runs great for what it is. It's a later Intech Briggs overhead valve. I know I gave a preview in my previous video on the electric snappers, which I did by accident, but it's a good preview. This one's made in 2007, if I haven't already shown, and it has the ball bearing front wheels on it. So a very good mower. I don't know how much these would have been new, probably around $3.99 or so. But you know, 10 years old, $120 is still a very realistic amount. So let me start it up for us. Hopefully it'll start, and show y'all that it runs and is ready to go. Get it warmed up, it'll find its groove and roll on with it. Probably a little bit of water in the air filter and stuff that needs to dry out. And as you can hear, I throttled it down some too, about where it needs to be. They had this thing running wide open, so. The self-propel working good, pulls great. So another good mower here, a very late season mower. Probably won't sell it this year, but it'll be a good one to start off next season with for somebody just looking for a good self-propel mower. Like I said, very nice. These Husqvarnas, I think they build them just a little bit better than the Craftsman's. Even though they're built by the same manufacturer, they seem to hold up just a little bit better. So here's a Husqvarna. I'll keep working on my newer mowers, and if I get any more trade-ins, I'll post a video on them too. So for now, here's this one. Stay tuned for the next one. Thank y'all for watching.